All right, everyone, welcome to this channel. What's upcoming is my roughly 50-minute interview with Hydro Flask that I was able to do when we flew out to Bend, Oregon at the end of my video where I emailed 1,000 companies asking for free stuff. If you haven't seen that video and you're here, that video is linked down below. You can watch that for a little bit more context before coming back and watching this interview. But I hope you enjoy this conversation. I'm very grateful again for Hydro Flask for making the time to have it with me, and then, of course, for sending me their free products in the video beforehand. So I'll get right into it. Thanks for being here. I hope you enjoy it, and we'll see you in the next one.
Josh, are you excited?
I am. It's kind of funny that this is where this project has led, because I started it, conceptually started it January 22, and now we're April 23rd at the headquarters of Hydro Flask.
Across the country from your hometown.
Yeah, it's not what if you had told me this is where this project was going, I probably wouldn't. Yeah. I guess I would have believed you, but it's just not what I expected. I think it'd be funny if they want to do a take at the end where I hand it to them and then walk out. But
oh, that would be funny.
Thanks, guys. Just want to say thank you. Oh, how's it going?
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. How you guys doing?
Good.
It's a beautiful day here.
What's up, fellas?
Hello.
Good, man.
How's it going?
Good.
Good to finally meet you. I am. This is my friend Nathan.
Hey, what's up, dude?
He has traveled with me out here.
Awesome.
And so,
Cool.
yeah, super excited. There we go. This is yours.
Right on, man.
And
thanks so much.
Thank you very much for doing all this and being a part of it. Do you remember, it's okay because it was a while ago, do you remember when the first email interaction, when you got forwarded our email?
Yeah.
What was kind of your first initial thought? Because my worry was being as small as a channel. I am still a small channel now, but as I was then, I didn't even have my last video, did great impression wise, but the best I had done up until that point was 5,000 views.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of the first thing, was who's going to respond to that, right? So what was your kind of initial thought receiving that?
Yeah. I mean, we have a principle here, a value that we call deliver delight, which essentially is just kind of going above and beyond for consumers. And that includes anybody, with a warranty issue, or anybody who's a fan in general, or really anybody who reaches out to us. And so when you sent that, that first and foremost, that kind of popped to the front. But then also, we're, as a brand, we're very fun, we're very playful, we're very engaging, and consumers love us because of that. So we're always trying to find ways to connect with our consumers, especially when it comes to those core brand attributes and values. And so when you reached out, and our social team does a wonderful job of interacting with consumers, I think the first thing that popped into our head was, let's showcase a little bit of that playful, fun interaction that really resonates with consumers, so that people don't leave from that reaction just thinking, oh, great, I just interacted with a bot, but instead I interacted with someone who seems pretty cool.
Yeah, that's so cool. And so engaging with people online, because there's a lot of companies that do it in a unique way.
Yeah.
For example, you've got Wendy's, who goes the whole route, and we're just going to roast the heck out of people and take it into that niche.
Which is fun to watch.
Right. How does Hydro Flask view their interaction with the consumer online and on socials?
Yeah, kind of similar to what I was just saying. I mean, we're always looking for ways to engage on a deeper level with the consumer, but through those brand attributes, right? And that joyful, playful, just optimistic. We know there's a lot of heavy things out there in the world, right? And we just want to be a joyful, positive presence in people's lives, and also be helpful and have solutions for folks. And so, I think when people reach out to us, we're always just looking for ways to kind of enhance their experience, either in the outdoors, through our products, but also enhance their experience through interactions with us too. Yeah.
How did you specifically, almost going away a little bit from Hydro Flask, how did you get started into this role, or kind of get on your journey that brought you here at the position you are here at Hydro Flask?
Yeah, well, I was a journalism major back in the day, but kind of fell more into kind of PR and advertising. That's sort of my wheelhouse, and I'm a little older than you and probably most of your viewers, but I got into social when it was first coming out and such, and it's such a great way to engage with consumers, but also media, with influencers, other folks as well. And so that's kind of how I got in there. But I've certainly passed the torch on to people who are much more knowledgeable than I am in that space now, including Eric and Rachel on our social team, and Zach, who is the individual that engaged with you too.
Right.
And social is such a fun way to be playful, to be, to really highlight those brand attributes. And so anyway, that's kind of how I got to it. But certainly it has evolved a lot since I was first in it.
Social's so fun. I love it. I mean, it's got its goods and bads, right?
Yeah,
and all of it.
Just like everything, but
it's such a fluid landscape, and
it is.
It's so enjoyable, especially the content creation space now.
Yeah, and from a brand standpoint, it's such a quick, efficient, and effective way to get to consumers' needs, right? Whether it's just a fun, playful interaction that leaves people feeling good. When you emailed us originally, and then thinking now to those results and such, we were, from what I heard from your email, is we were a brand that kind of went above and beyond. And to hear that feedback is awesome. And that happens all the time. I mean, we get letters from folks, inviting us to their weddings. I mean, I don't know how many wedding invitations a year we get,
right?
And it's all based on just falling in love with the brand through either a positive experience with the product or the brand itself, or with a friend who recommended it, and then they get super deep into it. But it's just those kind of joyful, positive experiences that we love to build, and which then engages and builds those loyalty and affinity bonds with our consumers.
Right. Are you aware, this is one question I didn't even have prepared, but of the kind of cultural, what's the word I'm looking for here, impact Hydro Flask has, just not even as like a product specifically, but like at our college, everybody has it, and they're throwing stickers on it, like, I'm gonna go fill my hydro, or I'll be right back, and I'm gonna get some water for it. Like, is that something you guys had envisioned as a hope beforehand, or is it one of those things that just kind of happened and now you're like, leaning into it?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a little bit of both, right? I mean, as a brand, whatever product you're producing, you always want it to grow beyond just a product, right? Because that's what a brand is. A brand is the sum of impressions. And so it's the product experience, it's the engagement with the brand itself, or the consumer, experience if something goes wrong or anything like that. And but that's the stuff we love, right? And we've realized over time, to get to your question, that it's more than just a bottle, and we've even got a campaign going on right now called Every Bottle Tells a Story. And it really maps to the fact that it's more than just a bottle. We hear people on social all the time saying it's my emotional support water bottle, or, everybody's bottle has stickers that actually mean something to them, right? Whether it's that sweet vacation they took down to San Diego, or to Zion, or wherever they went, or maybe they were climbing in Joshua Tree and they dropped it and it has a little ding or scratch in it, and that might be an imperfection per se, but it's actually something that means something special to that individual person, and it just makes the bottle that much more awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, and that's all we really have for like the official questions and stuff. The rest he's gonna keep filming, if that's all right. But any spots that you feel would be cool to show, or anything you think would be cool to capture on camera, and the rest is just very casual, and got it all done. Excited to be here, and just so cool. I love this. I came in and it immediately caught my eye. And it's like,
I mean, color has always been one of our key tenets, right? One of our core drivers of our brand and our products. And so, that's something that we really lean into. And this was originally kind of concepted as a trade show element in one of our booths, but everybody loved it so much, and we found people taking selfies and everything like that in front of it. So we kind of brought it back, and so just as a lobby centerpiece so when folks kind of come in, they can see it and really, see the color pop. And we switch out every season. We actually switch out the colors, kind of match some of our new product lineup.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, it's fun.
So cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. How long have you been working here?
I've just been here a little under a year, so.
Okay.
I'm in social media though.
Right.
Zach's former position, but
you enjoying it?
It's great. And I'm seeing a lot of stuff that comes in on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, and helping our consumer service team answer those questions and kind of keep that positive brand voice. But our team is really good at like I don't know, being fun and playful while also helping people out. And,
managing those interactions.
We have a
we
killer
really
social
encourage
team.
that.
I mean, Eric and the other gal on the team, Rachel, Eric and Rachel just crush it, and it's been awesome to see the content these guys are creating, and it's really fun.
There's not been a single interaction. Even Rachel messaged me. It's so funny, like reading I felt a little bit like, why is this guy like coming here? Like, because I think on paper it doesn't really make sense to like just fly out here, hand the thank you, but that's kind of like the bit with it too, right?
Sure.
That's what makes it funny. But like, I not wanting to say we're literally just handing you a thank you card, because wanting it to be like a little bit of the originality of or the organicness of the interaction, but also being like, we're not coming to like play gotcha or like trying to you know get anything else crazy. So everybody I've interacted with thus far has just been over the top and wonderful. It's been super awesome. So
and I think that's truly an authentic reflection of the brand. I mean, you've seen it. We live in a beautiful town. It's an incredible spot. We all chose to live here for a reason, just because we all drink that outdoor Kool-Aid. You know, we love to get outside and we love to mountain bike or ski or run or raft or fish or climb or whatever. I mean, there's a million things to do in this place, and it's just a good vibe. I mean, at Bend and also at Hydro Flask, and it's a very symbiotic thing for sure.
Right. That's so cool. That's so cool.
Yeah, you guys came at a perfect time. The weather's just killer.
It's gorgeous. And I was looking at it, it's like 80 degrees. I'm like, oh yeah, this is what I
should never go in this way. Can we go in this way, or do we have to? Maybe we have to go around this way.
Yeah, I got a alert on my phone. Something I had never heard of, like ice caps or something melting, and then it's
thing?
I'm like, what is that? Like,
I think it's mostly around like avalanche danger, right? Isn't that what it's for?
Like rapid warming.
Yeah, it's so interesting, because I've never ever in my life been in any area where that was a thing, and
I think that's what it's for. Yeah, I don't know if you guys are skiers, but we have got a resort that's like 20 minutes from here.
Yeah, no, I want to be. It's just, you'd think, especially being near Vermont and such, that I would have that history, but I don't.
Yeah. This guy right here can throw down.
Yeah, big skier.
Well, he's a
snowboarder.
Kind of initial reason for coming to Bend, for sure.
What do you think's easier
work
to get started?
I think
there it is.
Skiing might be easier to learn
because you've got the 2 feet and.
Yeah, just because you're standing on your feet a lot more. Snowboarding, you end up sitting down.
Right.
It's a little messy, but
this is so nice.
Should clean it up. But yeah, I mean, we've got, obviously these are all garage doors here. Well, not all, but some of these are garage doors. And so, on nice days when the office is full, they'll throw up the garage doors, and a lot of happy hours, or just people grab meetings here on the tables and that kind of thing. And
is this a fire pit?
It is, yeah. So
a little cool.
If it's a little chillier, you could start up the fire, and
that's so awesome.
Just kind of hang out here too.
So has this always been the corporate headquarters, or kind of how did the company?
It's always been in Bend. Yeah, this is our third office. But yeah, as the company, we started in 2009. As the company has grown, we've kind of moved buildings to accommodate kind of size and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, so we've been here though quite a few years, but always based in Bend, and. Yeah, we were acquired maybe 6 years ago by Helen of Troy, and it's been a great ride. Just having that a little bit more oomph behind us from that standpoint. Helen of Troy is a great company, and it's been great.
That's so cool. As far as product development goes, like as much as you can share, like what's the timeline where you're saying, okay, it's been X amount of months.
Yeah,
we feel like we want to launch another product into the market and kind of take a new direction or reignite the flame that's there. And also, how frequently are you looking at competing companies and trying to keep a little bit of a pulse on what they're doing? Just balancing that market versus consumer demand.
Yeah, I mean, we're always looking out there, right? I mean, it's kind of twofold. You look out there first and foremost to address consumer needs, right? So you see how consumers are using their products, or where maybe they aren't using any products, and where there's a need for a gap, right, to fill that.
Right.
So you're always looking at the competitive space, the industry, the landscape, just talking with your consumers as well, seeing how they're interacting with products in general, whether it's yours or anyone else's, and then just trying to address those gaps and needs.
Right. It's so frequent. It's so fun. How frequently are you like, what's the main platform you feel like you get the most, or you feel like you have to spend the most time on because you get the most interactions? Is it?
I mean,
my gut would say Twitter, but I don't.
No, Instagram.
Instagram is the
by
largest
far
one.
Our largest following. I mean, as you know, with Twitter, it's an odd space right now.
Right. Yeah.
But just in general, Instagram is our biggest following. I think we're around 618,000 followers there. So
Wow.
that's and that's the majority. Like the majority of our consumers are on that platform.
Right.
So that's where most questions are coming in, most interactions in general.
Do you find a lot of, because of the outdoors nature, from the content creation side, are people tagging Hydro Flask a lot? And like, I know everyone's making like these reels now of when they go out on these trips. I have a friend, Olivia, who loves doing that, right? And so are you seeing people creating content and then be like, oh, look, here's my Hydro Flask, you know, being a part of this, and you seeing the line? And if you're doing, I don't know how much influencer-based marketing you guys do, but if you are, is that kind of the niche you go into more so, or you kind of just address somebody who aligns with the brand image and the company, you know, ideas?
Yeah, I mean, there's people tagging us all the time. I'm sure it's hundreds daily, but yeah, you'll see us pop up in a lot of photos, and we're kind of like, I don't know, our water bottle is like a little sidekick, so it doesn't matter what you're doing. We kind of pop up in photos all over, and people love to tag us, and we love to see it too. We're always looking for UGC, user-generated content to share on our platforms if we can, and yeah, just love to be tagged and stuff like that. And then as far as influencers go, I don't know, you can talk to that a little bit about seeding, but
I mean, we definitely work with a lot of folks. I mean, we've got an ambassador roster that includes everybody from, you know, professional photographers to athletes to van lifers, and then we also, as Eric mentioned, work with a lot of influencers as well, some who reach out to us and some who we kind of go out and source. And but it all stems around those values, right? And what lines up with the brand, because collectively we're all trying to get at the same thing, right? I mean, we're a very environmentally sustainable company. We're all about that joyful optimism. We're all about getting everyone outdoors. You know, for us, we really believe the outdoors and just being outside, like being out of doors, leads to healthier, happier, and more fulfilled lives. And so, you know, we're always looking for people whose sort of personal missions or manifestos line up with ours, so that we're getting that same message out.
That's awesome. What do you view as the biggest growth opportunity right now for Hydro Flask? An area where, even if it's socially, like, we feel like we could grow more on TikTok or branch into our content there more, or?
Yeah. I mean, from a social perspective, it's, you know, it's a very much a pay-to-play model these days, right? Especially for brands. TikTok is that one space still that's a little bit more of a Wild West, and still from an organic nature you can grow. So, I mean, we put a lot of strategy behind every bit of our channel, right? And we focus, we cater to each of those channels in terms of how it's best going to grow for us and how we're going to hit our goals best and address consumer needs and all that.
It's super cool. It's super awesome.
Yeah, and TikTok being a newer platform is definitely like that's where we're seeing the most growth right now. And Rachel, who's managing that channel, is very in tune with what's going on and what's trendy, and we just do our best to, you know, to be a part of those conversations, but align them with our brand values as well. And
do you monitor kind of like the situation with TikTok, with all the questions about, well, is it going to get banned or restricted here or and such? Or then when you have like moves like the Twitter deal, it's like, okay, how, you know, are we going to have to move to a different space? Is the consumer going to move to a different space? How frequently are you tapping so that you're kind of ahead of the game on when the massive consumer moves, say if there was a secondary platform to Twitter and people just tomorrow decide that's where we're going, are you looking to be sure, like, if that's where they're going, we're going to be there almost before they get there? So they open the door and Hydro Flask is already there? Or do you kind of... I know it's like it's a deeper question.
Honestly, a bandwidth thing more than anything, probably. But we're kind of always keeping an eye out for those newer platforms and what might be next. But it's probably unlikely that we're gonna build much of a social presence on a newer platform before our consumers get there. But
we're always monitoring, of course, but I mean,
It's just kind of,
we can't predict what the government's going to do to TikTok or
right,
anything like that, and so we just kind of focus on what we can control and how we can interact and how we can, just deliver more delight.
That's super awesome.
Trying to produce content and be a positive presence on the channels, and that's pretty much all we can control.
Yeah, and lean into those various aspects of the channels that enable growth, right? Like TikTok obviously is super trend focused and trend based, and Rachel does a great job of leaning into that, but in a brand right way for us, that reflects both our brand, but then also means something to the audience on TikTok. Whereas for Reels and IG and all that kind of stuff, we're leaning into what works for our audience on Instagram too.
Right.
Yeah.
What's your favorite thing to do in which you always bring your Hydro Flask to? Yeah, I know you mentioned snowboarding, but
yeah, I mean, backcountry snowboarding, I always have Trail Series with me.
Yeah.
It's that's a interesting question because I always have a Hydro Flask.
Wherever you are, right? So it's like,
yeah. I think all of us have our arsenal of products that, that we use day in and day out. I mean, for me, when I travel, I use our cooler cup a lot. That's like my go-to for traveling. It's a lot smaller. It's about 12 ounces. We have different sizes, but it's great because it's kind of a koozie and a cup in one. But in the mornings, you can also accessorize it with different lids. And so in the morning, I've got a lid that's my coffee cup. I use it for trade shows or, for work travel or personal travel too. In the afternoon, it could be a water cup. And in the evening, if you have a beer or anything like that, you can slide the can right in the cup as an insulated koozie, or, anything else for that matter. So it's a great kind of versatile product.
Right. That's super awesome. This is I don't know that I would be able to resist coming out here and just sitting out here on the laptop and doing work out here constantly.
Yeah, we've got like cornhole boards and things like that, and we'll do just kind of on nice days, spring, summer, do tournaments, that kind of stuff.
That's so awesome.
For happy hours. We actually had a happy hour on Wednesday as well. Just, the garage doors get thrown up and we've got kombucha on tap, we've got cold brew coffee, we've got beer, wine, all kinds of stuff, and sparkling water, whatever. So it's a fun atmosphere.
It feels like such a fun company to work at.
Yeah, it is. It's good people, good vibes, and good intentions.
And the real grass. That's the one thing about San Diego, Southern California. I'm like, God, can we get rid of the turf?
Well, you all have a lot of water restrictions.
I know. It's the East Coast. It's being back and seeing it, and finally in a spot that has it. I'm like, there we go.
Yeah, for sure.
But do you guys target your advertising geographically, like for an area that might be more year-round warm? You're not going to. I would assume you're probably putting less. Hey, it's the cold. Go get a hot tea. In the snow. Yeah, this will keep it warm. Yeah. Advertisements. So are you like keeping that in mind when you're doing?
I mean, we have consumers all over the world, right? I mean, both domestically and internationally as well. So there's always going to be different seasons, different climates, and things like that. I mean, we are on a somewhat of a cadence when it comes to seasonal marketing and stuff. So we address, to that. But we're always looking to target consumers in both where they're at, but also what they're doing, and again, how kind of the product fits a need or is a solution to what they're looking for. We actually just launched a college tour. Post pandemic, we're super excited to get that going again and just get Hydro Flask out on the road. And so we just launched our college tour. We're a few stops in, and with something like that, obviously we're trying to get folks out to the campus, and so certainly we're geo-targeting things like that.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
Are you guys? Do you plan out? Yes, you plan out. But how far out are you planning, like campaigns, or is it kind of like if suddenly you know of a new product coming up, it's like, all right, we're going to pivot our January 23 or January 23. Well, that would have been January 24.
Yeah.
What we're doing now because we know this product, so we're going to kind of shift and start preparing for that campaign when that releases.
We're always planning it out. I mean, you have to be pretty far ahead of things, right? When you're manufacturing product, and whether it's hard goods like these products or more soft goods like our carryout cooler or something like that. So a little bit, it depends on, that process, and then also kind of timing wise, seasonality and all that. And in other ways, we do more D2C or like our website only kind of exclusive products. Like I mentioned, the Let's Go Together bottle that just launched. And there's some other things too that we're always testing out on our e-com channels. But yeah, everything's planned out for sure.
Right. That's so cool. It's awesome. I remember my first interaction with like Hydro Flask. My friend, our family friends, Tracy Kim and Chris Morris. Now, I think Tracy Morris, but anywho, we were out at this like country club type thing, and she has this water bottle, and I'm like, I might have been like 8 or 10 years old.
Yeah.
And it's when you had the old caps that were like strung on, and then like for me, when we ended up getting one of them, like they would be at times so hard to twist on because they needed to be sealed, but it was like it'd be clicking. Yeah. But she had it, and I'm like, oh my God, there's still ice in there. And she's like, yeah, I filled this up yesterday. My mind was blown, right? Yeah. And so I viewed it as like, look at this little company getting started, and now like being in college and just seeing it around, it's like, this is so cool that I feel like I got to see it right when it began. Yeah. And now like the growth into the water bottle space, it's like, it's been so, I don't know, awesome to see.
You've known a long time of the brand then, if you knew of that old cap.
Oh yeah, I remember it. And I remember, because we had that one Hydro Flask, and then we just didn't use it much. And then I remember like the refresh and like seeing like, oh, those are new, and then like, oh, that's so much better. Like the like, this works so much better, and kind of getting back into it was super cool and awesome. So on. It's been really fun to like watch it grow.
Yeah, I mean, like I said earlier, it's one reason why we launched that campaign, because like every bottle tells a story, right? People do associate the bottle with like that first moment they heard about it, and it's like, no way. I mean, we've got emails from people from like Phoenix or somewhere where it was 110 outside, they went into work, and then they came back hours later, and it was like still it was probably 125 in their car, and there's still like ice that hit their lips, and just shocked.
Yeah, it's crazy when you're feeling the outside of the bottle, and you're like, you can't even hold it because of how hot it is, and then you drink from it, and it's like the coldest water ever, and you're like,
and that's kind of what separates Hydro Flask, or one of the things anyway, is that we were really the first company that took the vacuum insulated technology, which had been around forever, right? I mean, but up until Hydro Flask, everyone kind of thought of that technology as like, your grandfather's big bulky thermos, right? That maybe they threw in the truck to go to the job site or go fishing, on the weekends or whatever. And what Hydro Flask did is we used that technology, but applied it to essentially the water bottle form, so that, it was transportable, but yet durable. It functioned, it kept things hot or cold, but was lightweight and could really be taken from place to place or with you all day. And so we really kind of revolutionized and changed the perception of what vacuum insulated technology could be.
Yeah. No, that's so awesome. And seeing it, the most impactful thing for like me seeing Hydro Flask from a brand standpoint, and like, is the influence it has now on like, just, if you don't have a Hydro Flask at college, it's like, you're probably going to get one at some point, because it's almost like the peer pressure thing of everybody's got one. And so, and there's even a thing where like, people have the Hydro Flask, but then you've got like the old Amazon Basic, like, attempt at a remake of it, and it's like, nobody wants to be caught with that. You know what I mean? And so it's funny seeing the dichotomy of the two, and how it plays into the social norms.
Yeah, well, brand matters, right? I mean, both from a function standpoint, but also a perception standpoint. And by that, I mean, because it stands for something, right? It stands for sustainability. It stands for giving back. It stands for, protecting the planet and doing good things. It stands for eliminating single-use plastics. And also stands for, just with Hydro Flask compared to like a knockoff brand, right? You're not going to get that customer service or anything like that. So it stands for quality too. Right.
Is there a challenge that you can share that during your time you guys kind of saw or, had to push through? Yeah. And then how did you address it? And then how'd you move forward from it?
Yeah. That's a good question. I mean, I think there's always challenges in terms of kind of adapting to like consumer needs or the landscape. One example I can think of, which is an old example, but I mentioned we sort of changed that perception of what vacuum insulation technology could be for liquids and water and ice water, and making it something you could take with you all day and keep cold. We also did the same thing for beer in a way. We were the first company to make a vacuum insulated beer growler. And so, you know, that really changed how beer could be transported. Really, until that point, it was, you know, just the glass growlers. People would go to the craft breweries and get filled and then take home. But, you know, there's an expiration for sure in terms of how cold that beer would be for how long, as well as like the carbonated factor too. And so Hydro Flask growlers kept it cold all day, or kept it, you know, carbonated all day too. So if someone was in San Diego and then wanted to drive up to, I don't know, Big Bear or something like that, it's a heck of a drive, right?
Yeah.
But they wanted to bring their favorite craft beer that wasn't canned or bottled or anything like that. They could still fill it up, drive all the way up there, and then have a beer in the evening with their buddy.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's so cool. Yeah. All right. I mean, we got a lot. We got a lot of good stuff.
That's probably more than you need, but
no, it's going to be great. I was already thinking like coming here, because the bit in the video will be that kind of like, this is what we did.
Yeah.
And there it is. But I'm already, especially for the summer, I have a lot of like behind the scenes stuff that
cool.
I might throw up onto a secondary channel that a couple people will just see, and like the longer form of the interview. And then as well as like shorts. There's a ton of great bits and stuff in shorts. And so it's such a fun space.
Are you chatting with any other brands that responded to you?
No, the only other company that I've thought about reaching out towards, but I don't really know that it works in the video, is John Deere.
I saw that was one of the ones.
Yeah, they gave me 2 hats. I mean, they didn't give me a tractor, right? It's a little bit harder for like product.
A riding lawnmower would be nice, but you got turf down in San Diego, so it's kind of a moot point.
Yeah, I will say if John Deere sent me a tractor, I might have to fly out to the John Deere headquarters and give them the same opportunity and thank you note, right? But no, not really. I mean, it's just interesting the levels to like Kia. They sent me a little tote bag and keychain, which was cool. The food company sent me a bunch of coupons.
Is that Smuckers?
Smuckers, did all that. I had a spreadsheet of 2,000, because that's the thing, you can't just do it to like 100, right? Because you want to get responses, and the more you do it. It was actually I was trying my best not to make it an automated email, but make it an automated email.
Sure.
So
if you're doing 2,000, that's a lot.
We had 2,000. We had the spreadsheet coded so that it would insert the brand name, insert like a product of theirs or like something cool that was specific to them, insert that into a sentence. And then insert like the thank you. And so sent to 2,000, lots of no's, some yeses, but some went the route of, the other thing you're doing is like, I couldn't have emailed Hydro Flask, be like, hey, can you send me free stuff? Well, maybe I could have, but like.
We get that all the time.
Right, and it's like, how do I say, obviously, if you send me free stuff, it's gonna look way better in the video. That's what I'm trying to do, like through the lines, right? But it's like, how do I frame it so it's more of like an open door, like you know, and also be like, this is not a guarantee of you being in the video, because this is not a paid promotion whatsoever. And so with a lot of that, it was like, no. Some people took it as like a donation request. And so with like the small set that we got, I was like, okay, I don't have a video yet. So what's the next arch in the video to like drive the story? So then I took roughly 100 companies like Apple, Monster, some of the bigger guns from the list that hadn't responded at all, and we did handwritten letters, sent them out, and none of them actually sent like much back. But what was pretty funny is we got official rejection letters, which was super good. Like I remember getting it from Apple. Funny. I open it up and it's the most Apple thing ever. It's like this really like nice stock. You can tell like this ink is like
with like 8-point font.
Right, exactly. And it's got like it's like laser engraved, and it's like, dear Mr. Scott, we will not be participating in this video. But like, oh, I'm holding this card from Apple. Like, it hurts, but I feel like I should frame it. You know what I mean? Like getting that corporate response from a company that large. And so
that's hilarious.
Yeah, that was cool. But then because nobody kind of responded from that, I was like, okay, I definitely have enough content for a short, but the amount of length that's gone into this, you know. And then I did that last video, which was the NFL and VR video. And because I'm now a YouTube partner and can get paid, that I generated revenue from that. And I'm like, okay, I've got some money to play with here. And so I was like, this video I still think is good. And from a brand perspective, like even dealing with you guys, it'd be so cool to like foster that relationship, and hopefully one day get bigger. Maybe there's more, you know, partnership opportunities. And so we're like, yeah, I think a way to wrap the story up in a nice way is like, what is the viewer not expecting? And it's like, Hydro Flask went so above and beyond these other companies. How can I show my appreciation back? It's like, yeah, we'll say, so we decided to fly there. And so the bit is like, we've even thought about recording a separate segment where we walk in, hand you the thank you note, and be like, all right, and then like turn around and walk out, right? And then like, that was the whole thing.
That's
but yeah, it's like, I think the bit will literally be in the final cut. He's going to walk in. I'll be talking to another friend. We're like, yeah, I don't know what to do. Like the videos. And then the joke's like, well, you can always fly there and thank them in person, you know?
Yeah.
And then it just cuts to me holding that thank you card, walking through the little
That's awesome.
stuff. And so, yeah, it's a fun
idea. Yeah, we were talking about it yesterday and this morning too. Just that it's a neat content idea. So, but yeah, it was awesome to have you guys. Appreciate you coming. I mean, especially really appreciate you coming. I mean, Jesus, that's a long. I can't believe you guys just came here for this. This is cool.
Right.